sacred space with Young Living Essential Oils. My name is Tracy Griffiths, and I'm the founder of Aroma Yoga. And Aroma Yoga is simply the pairing of Young Living Essential Oils with energy exercises that correlate to the elements of the body. We work with earth, water, fire, air, ether, and the upper realms that also connect to the energy centers of the body and all of our way of being through our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings. So it's this magical synergy. We are continuing with our theme of grounding. And today we'll be focusing on the hips. And if we have this openness and strength in our foundation of the earth, we can have more openness in our upper body. So we'll be focusing on baby back bends and some heart openers. The essential oils that I'm using today are Peppermint and Raven. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about these two. I've got peppermint in my diffuser, and I have this little story. When I share peppermint with people, especially before a yoga class or after a yoga class, people wake up and they feel alive and focused. And one girl I shared it with, after she smelled it, she said, "Wow, I feel like a superhero." So I just love that story. So peppermint's a great essential oil to share. Raven is a wonderful essential oil for helping create this cooling sensation. And it's great to use before your workout, before your yoga practice, what have you. So let's get started with applying the essential oils. So you see here I have a cotton pad and a tissue. This comes in handy for later in our practice. So if you don't have one right now, that's okay. You don't need a fancy cotton pad. You can use a tissue. And this will come in handy for when we lie down for our final resting pose. You can just tuck that right into your collar and have that aroma going for you when you're lying down. And I like to use the cotton pad because I place it around my mat, and when I'm in child's pose or downward dog, I still have the essential oil permeating throughout the practice. So that's some options for you. So grab your essential oil and bring out your left palm and put a few drops right in your left palm. And we're very careful when we use our essential oils. We always want to put our lids on tightly. And as you notice, when we rub our palms together, try not to get your fingertips saturated with the essential oils. That's just because we don't want to have them on our fingertips and then touch our eyes or move hair out of our face. So go ahead and apply your oils and sit well. I'm sitting cross-legged. I'm on a little blanket here. And what I mean by sit well, that just means to aim your roots, aim your tailbone and your sit bones into your blanket, into the floor, and let your body come up and rise. And we're going to do the aroma yoga breath. So here we go. Bring your oiled palms towards your nose. Inhale deeply. And as you inhale, can you grow taller in your spine? And exhale, release your hands down by your side. We're going to do that again. I'm going to move that out of the way. Inhale deeply. Bring your arms down to your side. One more time. Inhale. Exhale and release. And this time bring your arms up as you inhale and maybe look at your hands. And then bring your palms together and come down to center. I forgot to tell you, sometimes in aroma yoga we make sounds. Sometimes we get off our mat, so be prepared. This might not be like any other yoga class you've taken before. Here we go. Inhale again, deeply. And release your palms down. Exhale. And then again, really reaching up. Look at your palms and maybe look back a tiny bit, and then bring your head forward and come through the center line. Excellent. So as we begin our practice, just notice what's true for you. We've already shifted something with essential oils and that little aroma yoga breath. And before we begin, maybe there's something you'd like to release today. Maybe there's something that you need to honor for yourself. And just take a moment as we begin to put that into your mind. What's true? What do I need to honor? How do I want to show up after this practice? Good. And one more time, inhale your oil deeply. Release and let go. I'm going to show you something else that I like to do with essential oils, especially with a yoga practice. So grab some more essential oil. Pamela showed you how to do the roll and release technique yesterday. We're going to put these essential oils on the bottoms of our feet and the tops of our feet. And if you remember yesterday, she showed you roll and release. You can do that on the tops of your feet and on the bottoms of your feet. That's just a great way to wake up all of the nerve endings on the bottoms of the feet and just telling our system, okay, it's time to get going. We're gonna wake it up. So that roll and release will come in very handy. And you can go slowly or you can go quickly. So just more resource for you. Bring your feet together. And if you're sitting up on a blanket, you can keep it like that. I'm gonna move mine out of the way because it's just more comfortable for me, but I'll have it handy for later. And we're gonna start with our butterflies. Again, we're opening up those hips. And you can bounce a little bit. And if you don't want to go as fast as me, you can take your time and go a little bit slower. Just getting settled, getting started for our practice. Saying hello to those hips. And bring your hands behind you. Extend your feet out. Shake it out a little bit. And then cross your legs. This is called easy pose or Sukhasana. And just be sure you know what leg is in front. My right leg is in front. Bring your hands on your knees. We're going to do something called around the world. And this is great to have your pad handy or wherever it is you're going to be smelling your oil. So sit up nice and tall. Extend those arms. Lean back a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. And use your arms as leverage just to help you come back and balance, and then come forward. Your arms are bending. You can let your head come down. And we're just gonna get some fluidic movement going here. We say this would be a watery exercise and a little bit of earth as well. So we'll go around one more time around the world, and then pause, inhale, exhale. And then let's go the other way, all the way around the world. And notice if you can keep your hips, your sit bones on the floor. It could be a little tricky. That's okay if you're lifting up a little bit. Can you root down a little bit more? Just noticing. Every body is different. Every day is different. And then come back to center. Inhale. Exhale, release. Bring your hands behind you, shake it out again. And then cross the other leg in front. So now my left leg is in front, and this is where this really comes in handy. Reach your arms up over your head. Inhale, inhale, inhale. And then on your exhale, bow forward. Let your head drop and start crawling your fingertips out as far as you can. Let your head release. And plant those hips right into the floor. You've got your pad in front of you. And you're just taking in your essential oil. We'll do that 2 more breaths. And if you want to give up a little sound as you do this, that's perfectly fine. It's nice to give out a little, Walk your hands back up. Bring your arms up over your head. Inhale. Exhale, release. And then turn yourself to the right or your left. It doesn't matter. I'm keeping my pad handy. And I'm walking myself over to the right side right now. And release. So you're feeling a side stretch on that opposite side that you are forward folding over. Keep your body, your head facing down, and just walk yourself. I'm taking my pad with me. I could have more pads. And then come to the other side. So that's a nice stretch on that side waist. Can you plant those hips deeply into the ground? Good. And come back to center and walk yourself up. Excellent. So you might be feeling a little cramped and you want to open this up. So go right ahead, open this up. I'm going to show you something called rowing. And I'm going to show you some modifications. So if you want to keep facing me, that's great. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see my whole rowing situation here. So rowing is an exercise that helps create more energy flow through the lower body. Bring your heels in towards your body. Keep your feet flexed. So this is variation one. If you're not feeling so flexible today, you can bring your hands behind you, and all you're gonna do is step on your gas pedal with both feet, or your brake, whatever you wanna say. That's just pumping back and forth. So this is gonna be our just beginning, just waking it up. So if you're feeling like, okay, I got it, my lower back feels good, can you bring your hands over your toes? And if you want to extend your legs out a little farther, you can just have that as your pumping. We call this rowing or pumping. And the aim of this exercise is to help wake up the lower back, the pelvic bowl, the water element. And when we have, if you think about the elements, water always seeks its shape of what it's in. So water keeps the container. It's the shape of the container. But water also always trickles down. So water and earth are elements that get along really well together. Okay, so after a couple of those, can we alternate back and forth, head over shoulder? And so you're getting a little bit of a spinal twist, back and forth. And if you don't have your hands on over your feet, you can be like this. You can just do it this way. So we always want to have a modification for everyone. Okay, couple of more. And then release and shake it out. So we've been doing some windshield wipers. I'm going to add a couple in. These are just fun exercises to get the energy moving. So go as fast as you can. I like doing these fast. Fast, fast, fast. Faster, faster. And then stop for a moment and just notice what happens. You can close your eyes if that's right for you. And what do you feel? What do you notice? Do you have any tingling sensation? Do you have any buzzing? Do you feel like energy is moving? And if you don't, that's okay too. Let's do a few more. Fast, fast, fast. And I always say in my classes, when we go inward like this with our windshield wipers, it's kind of like a German car, a European car. And this would be like an American car. So the action of this, just your feet wiping back and forth, will stimulate all of your lower body. Okay, and pause and notice. Yeah, feeling more awake, more alive. Hope you do too. Okay, come forward, and so we're going to come to hands and knees. We're going to start opening up the spine with, you know this one, cat-cow. So all that means is your hips are right over your knees, and your shoulders are right over your ankle, or your wrists. Did I say wrist? Your hip and your knee, your shoulder and your wrist. And this is a tabletop. And if you want to have your oil here handy, that's great. So just be at neutral, tabletop. Take a moment, breathe. And as you inhale, can you come on up to, we call this cow. There's an arch in the upper back. Your lower belly is just hanging and it's relaxed. And then as you exhale, you're going to be an angry cat. So you're articulating your vertebrae. And we're imagining that we can open up each vertebrae. So keep going with me here. Your cow, and moving with your breath, your cat. This should feel good. This is a very soothing and opening movement. And every time you put your head forward and down like this, we're going to do more of these. It's a way of helping your nervous system come to a calmer place. Anytime you put your head down, it's very soothing. Good. And then come back to neutral. And let's fold our toes over, and let's just come up to a downward dog. Very simple. It could be the first one of the day. Your knees can be bent. Your heels don't have to touch, but maybe they will, and you can pedal this out. So again, this should feel good. This should feel soothing and supportive to your system. We're not trying to overdo anything. We're just waking up our body and giving our system some love. And then once you feel like, okay, I'm pedaled out, can you come into a little bit of stillness in your downward dog? Good. And then come back to your knees. And sit back on your heels for a moment, and let's take the pressure off of our wrists. So let's roll our wrists, roll them the other way. Just like we did with our feet, with our pumping, we could do that with our palms. Very similar. We want to open up our joints. Good, and then crawl back out again, and let's come back to our downward dog. Good. So this is just another stabilizing, grounding exercise. All right, come to your knees, and I'm going to show you some fun ways of opening up the upper back. So hopefully you're warmed up from our cat-cow. If you've got a few more in you, go right ahead. And from here, bring your hands out a little bit more. You're on your knees, and just calm down. Hold a little bit at almost a push-up, and then let your whole belly come to the floor. I'm going to show you something called crocodile or TV watching pose. And this is for opening up the back. It's a baby back bend. So bring your elbows right underneath your shoulders. And your feet are extending. So maybe lift up one leg and extend those toes behind you. Lift up the other. So we're taking all of the crunkled up energy out of our lower back. We're smoothing out our lower back here. And then bring your elbow where your hands were, and you're just gonna put your hands up by your chin. That's it, crocodile. So the thing about this pose is we don't wanna be slumped down, and we don't wanna put any tension on our neck. We wanna be lifting. So can you imagine that it's like your belly is being zipped up, and you're engaging in those legs, and then come down. I'm gonna show you something else here too. As your head is on your palms in front of you, bend your knees. You might have to look at me. Bend your knees, and you're going to crisscross your feet back and forth. So this is called scissors. Great exercise for opening up the hips and a bit of a counter pose to what we just did. And then stop, extend your feet again. Back to crocodile. So again, zip up your belly, zip up that abdominal area so you're engaged. You're not slumping in, you're engaged. Good. Then you're breathing. And then come back to scissors. So we're mixing the elements right now. We're connecting to the water, and we're connecting to the air element, and that's the heart chakra. Good. Okay. Let's come back to child's pose. Bring your knees wide so they're almost at the edge of the mat, and sit back on your hips. And then I have my little pad handy here. Extend your arms out, let your head rest onto your mat, and just rest for a moment. Saying hello to your lower back and your spine, and keep those arms engaged. Keep reaching out. We also call this wisdom pose. So we can always come to this place to find wisdom and our internal intelligence, our higher knowingness through this pose. And then come on up. I'm going to show you a few more things. This 20 minutes goes by so fast. So from here, let's all stand up. And as you stand up, please come up slowly. Keep your knees bent, put your hands on your hips, come up halfway, and then come up all the way. And bring your shoulders up and around. Very good. So this next exercise is called hue tapping. I love this for if I'm ever feeling kind of blah, kind of sad or, just not enthused, put it that way. I do this exercise. It's called hue tapping. And like I said, we were gonna walk around, make some sound off and on the mat. This is where that comes in. So I've got my essential oil. I'm gonna put it right here so I can still smell it. And as we're here, this is so simple. All you're gonna do is tap your sternum, that flat bone. There's a gland behind that bone called the thymus gland. And sometimes it's referred to as the happy gland. So remember this. If you're ever feeling kind of blue, just tap your thymus and you're gonna make a sound, and it sounds like this. So go ahead and do that with me. And as you hue, just walk around a little bit. You can get off your mat, it's okay. Look around your space. You can go alternating. Just simple, simple things. That's what aroma yoga is. And then stand in mountain pose for one moment. Just notice how you feel. Feel your feet on the ground. So we're going to end with coming back down to our mat. If you want to stick around later and just lie down in Shavasana, you're more than welcome to. You can lie on your back. Your knees can be bent. Your legs can be straight. And just come into this rest. And you can be lying there. And while you're here, just feel your whole body resting on the floor. Give yourself a thank you for joining in today and experiencing something new. And just know that the earth is supporting you. You've got a connection to all of your elements. You can be in your heart. You have your essential oils as a resource in your life. Bend your knees, bring your left arm up over your head. Come onto your side, push yourself up. And let's just be together for a moment in gratitude for what we have with Young Living. Crying a little bit. I love this company. I love this community. So grateful. Count your blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for joining, and stay with us in our sacred practices throughout these 12 weeks to be together and support each other. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Namaste.